Hey neighbor, what's the formula for insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Guess what? That's what we've been doing for so long everywhere, including Mississauga Malton. Every year, we have an election, or whenever we have an election, we choose the candidates who talk to us for these issues that we care. And yet, they have not been able to fix anything. So, what does that mean? That means they're not thinking outside the box. That means they don't have a clue why these things happen. No councillor, no mayor, no premier, even the prime minister can fix this, because this is a global phenomenon. There's a lot of other things that comes in it. Of course, we have to talk about the rising taxes, crime, especially driven by the car theft, road safety. It's not acceptable to me even one person gets hit by a car while they're crossing the road. Of course not. And then there's this immigration situation. We want immigrants. We have to have immigrants. But then there has to be a good system. Mississauga Malton is getting the brunt of it because the students or new immigrants choose where they feel comfortable. It's a great place to live. We have all the necessities of a city right here in Mississauga. All the places of worship, all the cultures, they all live happily ever after here. So the point is that we know where we live, we know what our problems are, but the solutions are not the same. I urge you, go and check out the platform of all the candidates. They're singing the same old tune. I would like to change that a bit. Here is my approach. Within the first few weeks of me being in the office, of course we're going to bring the problems in front of you. Of course I'm going to have an advisory board in some of the areas. And then we'll come up with some solutions. That's given. But here is my approach, not the top down, but bottom up. What does that mean? That means we have the resources right here in Mississauga Malton, and we have to give them more. What are the resources? Who can pay more in taxes? Who can afford to buy more? Who does have the better jobs? If we fix those things, we are going to be self-sufficient. We need to look at the grassroots organizations. I have identified 9 of them. Within the first few weeks of me becoming your counselor, I will be providing them with expertise. What does that expertise mean? It means, what does a small business person do? A small business works in the business, not on it, because they can afford to. City Council and myself, who has done so much of voluntary work, can get teams together to help them find efficiencies. In other words, the social service agencies, if they can tackle the issues which they cannot do it by themselves, I can provide. That's a promise. Second, if we go down and start taking care of our youth, our children, starting from KG all the way to 12th grade, if we give them more programs, free programs like STEM programs, communications, personal finance, it's possible. We have done it in the past. You may say, well, that's not the job description of a counselor. Why not? Does it help our people? Then why not? I'm going to change my job description. It's going to include that. That's the approach I'm taking, is that we have to change the way we operate in Mississauga Malton. In Mississauga Malton, there's institution that a 19-year-old can go to college. 1 year later on, there's a job waiting. If we empower women, what happens? Their income goes up. When the income of the household goes up, the family is safer. When a family is safer, the community is safer. Again, about seniors. They have given back to us so much. They have given all their lives. It's our turn to give them back. As an executive director of Heartland Credit View Community Health Services, as a board chair of Catholic Family Services, the work we have done can be duplicated right here in Mississauga. We can give more free programs. It's possible, it's been done. So here's in short. If you are going to do the same thing over and over again, then we are not going to get ahead. I have done many of those things in the past. Handling a big budget, managing 300 staff members 24/7 in a large hotel in US and in Canada. Working with not-for-profit is an asset for me. In other words, experience you cannot buy. You have to earn it. And the best experience you have is when you work through challenges. And I started my life in 1982 in America. I never looked back. My point again is this: Mississauga Malton, think outside the box. We need to solve these issues. And here is my list of the programs that I want to introduce first. Free programs for youth, women, and seniors. We need to build a hydroponic and aquaponic system right here in Mississauga. What will that do? It will create jobs, summer jobs for the students. Second, the production that comes out of it, we can have a business plan for that, sell it, teach our kids, or just take it and give it to the food banks. Proper nutrition can be coming from there. I promise within the first 6 months, I will have a draft to present to you that we are going to do a hydroponic and aquaponic system right here in Mississauga Malton. Another thing, through charities, we can build center in Mississauga Malton, Value Life Humanitarian Services, along with Truck Driving Welfare Association of Canada, and some other organizations have a plan, and we are going to implement that. So in short, if we want to be insane, keep doing the same thing over and over again. But if you really want somebody to take it to the next level, you want somebody who is mature, who has done it, who is ready from the day one. So on June the 10th, if you really want a true, successful city councillor, vote for me. I'm ready from the day one. Why not? We can do it. On June the 10th, you're going to make a decision based on the following. Little things make a big difference. Do I want it or do I need it? What do I mean by that? You may know your neighbor, you may like the name, and you want them to be city councillor. Is that fair? Is that what you really want? Do you not want somebody who's ready? Do you want a dentist to operate on your head, on your brain? You need the brain to make the decisions that we are talking about. So in short, again, make your choices based not on emotion, but on facts. And the facts are very clear when you go to www.khandaker.ca. If you need, you call me. If you need, we're going to have a town hall. I'm going to call one 4 to 7 days before the election so that you can hear directly from me of the other nitty-gritty of the plans that we need to do in Mississauga Malton. Let's not do the same thing over and over again. Get Ehsan Khandaker to be your next city councillor, and let's change our lives for the better.